That's the story of India-China relations. A lot of ups, downs and milestones. Even during the best of times, things were never perfect. Perhaps it's the curse of geography. Two proud and ancient civilizations right next to each other. Tempers were bound to flare. Today, this rivalry has moved to new theatres, like the economy. Since the clashes in Galwan, India has cracked down on Chinese businesses. More than 200 apps were banned in the year 2020, and now Chinese companies are under the scanner. Let me tell you what happened on Tuesday. India's Enforcement Directorate, ED, raided offices of Chinese phone maker Vivo. It was a nationwide sweep. Almost 44 offices across the country were searched. Raids were reported in Delhi, in Uttar Pradesh, in Meghalaya, Maharashtra and West Bengal. What are the charges against Vivo? There are two of them. One is money laundering and two, forgery of identity papers. The company has responded to these charges. Let me tell you what a spokesperson said, and I'm quoting, Vivo India is cooperating with the authorities to provide them with all required information. As a responsible corporate, we are committed to being fully compliant with laws in India. Now, this could be a huge blow for Vivo. They make up 15% of India's smartphone market. Their total revenue is more than 25,000 crore rupees. And Vivo is not alone. Other Chinese phone makers are also on India's radar. Let me show you the timeline. In December last year, 3 companies were raided: Xiaomi, Oppo and Vivo. They were accused of evading taxes worth 6,500 crore rupees, 6,500 crore. That's more than $820 million. In February this year, Huawei was raided. They too were manipulating their books to evade taxes. And in April, Xiaomi was raided again. Assets worth $700 million were seized by the Enforcement Directorate of India. The charges funneling money back to China. Some firms are not even able to enter the Indian market, like Great Wall Motors. They're the biggest SUV makers in China. In 2020, they announced plans to enter India. Their cars were showcased at the Auto Expo. They even signed a deal to take over General Motors' Maharashtra plant. And there was big money involved, almost $1 billion. Yet the plan never took off. Great Wall has abandoned their India ambitions. They have not said why, but reports hint at regulatory roadblocks. The operation in Maharashtra did not get a green light from the authorities, so Great Wall is moving to Brazil. What does China say about all of this? Their state media is twisting the narrative. They're making it seem like India is an obstructionist market. Let me show you a report in the Global Times. This is what it says. India does not want Chinese-funded enterprises to enter important industries such as automobiles. Under India's current investment approval system, it is unrealistic for Chinese-funded companies to hope to enter relevant industries. How tables turn. A communist country is lecturing India on free market. Well, irony aside, is there any truth to this claim? I'll show you a report and then you can decide for yourself. In the last 2 years, India has approved 80 investment applications from China, 80, and we're talking about FDI, foreign direct investment, 80 applications cleared. After the clashes in Galwan, India tweaked the FDI rules. Now there is a separate regime for neighbors. If you share a land border with India, you will need special clearance. So China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, all these countries will need special government clearance for FDI. And since then, India has received proposals from 382 Chinese firms. How many of them got cleared? Around 80. Indian officials are following a strict vetting process. For example, minority stakes get easy clearance, but acquisitions not so much, because that involves complete ownership by a Chinese firm. Same with digital assets. India is wary of letting China invest in Indian digital enterprises, but physical assets get easy clearance. We're talking about factories or shops. Again, the reason is quite clear. Physical assets are easier to target if things go south, but digital assets are hard to track and harder to seize. So India's policy is not based on obstructionism, it is based on national security and interest. We know what happens when Chinese companies enter foreign markets. They take over key industries, they displace local competitors, not to mention dabble in communist espionage. So India is taking extra care while vetting Chinese businesses. And Beijing, of all people, should understand this. This is a country that accuses even cars of spying. In China, you cannot park a Tesla car near a government building. Guess why? Because the Communist Party fears the car will eavesdrop. India's approach is not that extreme. It is welcoming Chinese investments as long as the books are in order. If the plan is to launder money or funnel forex to China, then authorities will crack down. It's less about hurting Chinese businesses and more about protecting Indian markets, something communists should love, at least on paper. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.